And ladies and gentlemen, welcome for the first time this year to a special presentation from the 2KU. This is the Sunday Selection Show. I'm Type A Joy 101 here on St. Patrick's Day alongside Danny V. While we don't have any green in our thumbnail, we are celebrating the holiday. I celebrated by not having Irish food. We had Polish food. We had a good time. Danny, how did you spend your St. Patrick's Day today?
It was good. I hanged out with one of my roommates, and we just had a good time.
We had a good time, and we got a great time set for you tonight. I'm Type A Joy 101 here with Danny V, set to be joined by the Pig Bear later on in the show. Now, it's March Madness time. We have some blank slides here just to set the scene. 68 teams make the NCAA tournament for men and women. Each of the 34 conference champions are in a 64-team bracket with first four matchups between 2, 11, and 12 seeds. For the March Madness stream, we'll be doing all the rounds up to the Final Four next Sunday. We'll be using Wheel Madness to figure it out. We'll be spinning the wheels and letting the odds go. The Final Four will be played on College Hoops 2K8, dusting off the old Xbox 360 for that stream. That will be the first Sunday in April. So keep an eye out for that. All right. Before we head into our NCAA tournament, any expectations, Danny?
I expect a lot of happy fans. I see a lot of sad fans.
All right. We'll also be having the NIT as a 2KU Discord server exclusive, so don't forget to hop over to the Type A Joy 101 Discord channel to see the NIT, the best of the teams who didn't make it in to the big dance. And there are some teams nervously waiting in the wings for this one. Now we pop up to our conference champions. There are 34 this season. We'll only be doing the men's in highlight. We'll bring up the women's when they show up on the women's bracket. We're starting things off with a major shocker in Clemson. The ACC champions, who came out of nowhere to have a deep run through the NCAA tournament, or through the ACC tournament, to take the championship in Greensboro. Any thoughts on Clemson here, Danny?
Congrats on them for a major upset. So, good job on the Tigers for blocking in the auto bid.
We have a few smaller conferences to get through before we get to our next big show. We'll move on to the America East and their final year of membership. Stony Brook is making it back to the big dance. Their last tournament appearance was back in 2020. Now moving on to the Atlantic Sun. Florida Gulf Coast wins their 6th conference championship. I believe that is Pig Bear who just joined us in here. The Florida Gulf Coast Eagles are once again going dancing as one of the best mid-majors in the nation. Danny, your thoughts?
Congratulations to Florida Gulf Coast representing the Sunshine State.
Pig Bear, your thoughts? Or is this Pig Bear?
Yes. Are y'all live?
We're live, yes.
All right, cool. All right, awesome.
Welcome Pig Bear to the stream, everybody.
Welcome, yes.
Any thoughts on Florida Gulf Coast here, your A-Sun champs?
Awesome. Have we got the ACC champs yet?
We did, and it was Clemson who won the ACC. This is their first time going as an ACC champion in the 64-team tourney era.
Oh.
All right.
Oh.
Now we go to the A10. George Washington was an incredible story this season, coming out of nowhere to shock the conference. They beat Xavier for the championship, and they're going dancing for the first time since 2004. A major team here. Danny, your thoughts?
Yeah, that was a great job for them, and good job on a great win for them.
Pig Bear.
Yeah, good job, George Washington.
Now we move to our next conference, the Big East. A big dog in Syracuse, 2 years removed from a national championship appearance. The Orange are back in the ACC tournament once again. Any thoughts here, Danny and Pig Bear?
Yeah, that they are bouncing the orange ball like their own mascot. Good job, Syracuse.
Pig Bear?
Yeah, Syracuse is a great program out of the Big East. Interesting. I think they've got a good chance of repeating this year.
They didn't win the Natty. They didn't win the
Yeah,
Natty. They made the appearance in the national championship. It's been a very interesting period in the NCAA tournament. in NCAA history, it's 3 times in the last 5 years a non-powered team has won the national championship. This dates back to Loyola, Illinois back in 2019, and the last 2 years, VCU and San Diego State took it. Our next stop is to a non-power school, the Big Sky Conference. That is not Syracuse, that is Weber State, the Wildcats out of the Big Sky, making their 8th NCAA tournament appearance. The Big Ten, Purdue, won the conference championship in the final over Wisconsin, a Wisconsin team who desperately needed to win the tournament to make the championship. Wisconsin now on the ropes. Will they make it in? Any thoughts on Purdue here?
I'm losing it, but Purdue is a big national power, so kind of expected.
Pig Bear?
As long as they don't run into Farrell Dickinson, they're fine.
All right. Next conference up, the Big 12, Iowa State stunned a top Baylor squad to take their first conference championship in almost 16 years. Iowa State was out of the tournament the last few years. Was out of the tournament last year. Can they get another deep run to formulate? Danny?
Yeah, good job for Iowa State. They got a big win over Baylor's, and that's not an easy win, so good job on the Cyclones.
All right. Pig Bear?
Yeah, good job. The win for Iowa State.
No. Next, we're going out west to the Big West. Cal State.
Art imitates life.
What was that?
It's like art imitates life. Iowa State.
I didn't hear that.
Iowa State won the Big 12 in real life.
Oh. All right. Big West. Cal State Fullerton. One of the resident powers of the Big West. Remember, they had a very deep run in the playoffs 10 years ago in 2014. Can they repeat that success this year? Next up, the CAA 2021 champion or 2022 champs VCU winning their final CAA championship. They'll be in the A10 in 2024. Up next, we have the Conference USA, UCF. Stunning Houston, Arkansas, and Louisville to steal the conference championship away. They'll be making their first conference championship, or they're making their first NCAA tournament in over 24 years. Danny, you're certainly ecstatic about this, aren't you?
Hell yeah, go Knights and charge on, beat the Cougars, Space U for the win.
Pig Bear?
Good job, UCF. Space U.
It's you. Up next, the ECAC in its final year, Hobart, the Statesmen of New York, taking the final ECAC championship. Also in their final year is the GLIAC. The brand will be moving to D2. Lake Superior State will be in the Horizon League next season, and this is going to be their first ever NCAA tournament appearance. Up next, the Great West. This conference we thought was going to be done after this year, but managed to pick up some new members and will be staying put for 2025. Utah Valley, though, in their final year of membership, will be going to the WAC. After they and Grand Canyon have dominated in the last few years, Utah Valley making their second NCAA tournament appearance in 3 years. Up next, the Gulf Star Conference in its second year here, the Jacksonville State Gamecocks returning to the NCAA tournament for the first time since they were in the Ohio Valley. JSU, a very dangerous team for anyone to face. They'll actually be staying in the Gulf Star next season, though their football program will be in the Sun Belt. Now we move to the Horizon League, Wright State. If you remember in our stream, they made the first four last season, but missed out on the tournament after a loss to Seattle. They're trying to avoid that fate. And now that we've guaranteed that every conference champion will be outside of the first four, they look to make a good run in the future. To the Ivy League, Cornell making their first NCAA tournament appearance in nearly 29 years. The Big Red beat Princeton to make it to the Big Dance. Now we move to the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. This might be a name you're familiar with. St. Peter's making it to the Big Dance. This is their second straight year winning the MAAC. And their third straight year in the finals. They lost last season, or they lost in 2022 to Marist. Up next now we have the MEAC Howard, the Bison, making themselves back in the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2017. Now to the MAC, Ball State. Ball So Hard University, the Cardinals, going back to the big dance. To the Missouri Valley, Creighton. Creighton was part of the reason why the Missouri Valley became the power conference that wasn't, and they have proven that they are a force to be reckoned with another great season. Danny, your thoughts on the Blue Jays?
Good job, Blue Jays, getting a great win in their tournament.
Pig Bear.
Yeah, Creighton's a strong team. They're one of these teams I think can make a jump to one of these other power conferences pretty soon. And their team, you gotta take a look out on.
They beat Wichita State in the semis, who have had a difficult season. We'll have to see
Shocking.
where they go. On to the Mountain West, another non-power power conference. How about this stunner? UNLV shocking. UNLV shocking San Diego State to slip into the tournament. The regular season champs were the Aztecs, but UNLV stole it away at the last moment. We'll have to see how that affects the seeding. Danny.
A major upset for San Diego State. They were a top powerhouse, both in real life and in 2KU. So the shocker to see them lose to UNLV in the championship game, but hopefully they can still make it in.
UNLV, no shocker to big tournament runs. Of course, way back in the 90s, they won a national championship out of the Big West. Pig Bear.
Yeah, the Run Rebels get it done. Big shocker. Hey, another bid go in.
Do they have more shockers coming up? We'll have to see. To the Northeast Conference, if you're Purdue, you're sweating bullets. Fairleigh Dickinson, out of the NEC, making their first tournament appearance since 1986. A long drought ended for FDU. The Knights will be back once again. Danny, your thoughts?
Purdue is sweating. They're sweating their boilers off.
Pig
My
Bear.
goodness, good job to Fairleigh Dickinson.
Pig Bear?
One of my favorite tournament memories.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. I was with my friends watching that game, real life. But the 2KU hasn't happened yet, and I'm sure Purdue's nervous. Maybe we'll see it matched up against each other. Maybe the committee's got a sense of humor.
Maybe. I remember I had to fix my computer while that game was happening, so I was listening on my phone to a radio stream, and then it happened. All right, now we move on to the Ohio Valley. For the first time in school history, Southern Illinois at Edwardsville will be making the NCAA tournament. The Cougars upset Murray State to make it to the big dance. They joined Division I back in 2007-8, and now, less than 15 years later, just over 15 years later, they're in the big dance. Actually, never mind. We got to move to another big conference. The final year of the Pac-10, there'll be the Pac-12 next season, and Oregon stole the conference championship away from Arizona, much like real life here. Danny, your thoughts here on Oregon?
Congratulations to Oregon. The Ducks are flying their way to the tournament.
Pig Bear?
Let me get the sound up.
I believe my soundboard is off. But... No, it's here.
Go Ducks.
All right. Up next, we have the Patriot League. Bucknell, a dominant force in the last few years, and they're making it once again to the NCAA tournament. Now, to the SEC, where Kentucky stole it away from Alabama to prove that they are still the number one team in the SEC. Danny?
Kentucky has been a usual traditional powerhouse, so it's not really too much shocker, but hopefully Alabama could still make it in with how good their run was.
All right, while I set this up, Pig Bear.
I think Alabama's the tournament team.
All right, up next we have the SoCon. It's Davidson who's got it once again. The Davidson Wildcats got stunned last season in preparation for the NCAA tournament. Against Wofford, that was who it was. Meanwhile, they came back, regrouped, and are going dancing once again. Pig Bear, you probably have some thoughts on this team.
Yeah, I'm just good way to finish up the tournament on CASN in Asheville.
Mm-hmm.
Davidson, strong traditional basketball powerhouse in tournament history in SoCal, so it'd be good to see them play. They can run deep. I can see them as a Sweet 16 team, just depending on how their live turns out.
Danny, any thoughts?
Yeah, good job for these guys. I mean, this conference has been traditionally a little sneaky when it comes to the tournament. It could be an upset team or two, so we gotta see where they stack up against everyone else.
Up next, to the Southland Conference, Abilene Christian, making an NCAA tournament appearance for only the second time. The Wildcats in their final year of Southland membership before they joined the WAC in 2024-25. Next up, the Summit League, South Dakota State, making their first ever NCAA tournament appearance this year. The Jackrabbits slipped in over Oral Roberts to take the conference crown. Now to the Sun Belt, Florida Atlantic has been that team that you just hear faintly in the distance for all season. But what about FAU? FAU could throw a wrench in things. If there's any team to put your money on as a dark horse, FAU could be that squad. Danny?
FAU, Owls, Owls, Owls. Go FAU. Of course, you seriously, Ben.
Pig Bear.
Yeah, FAU is going to be a sneaky team to play in this tournament.
All right, now to the SWAC Texas Southern, making their 5th NCAA tournament appearance in the last 7 years. Dominant program in Texas there. Onto the WAC, people were expecting New Mexico State. They were a very dominant team, but it was Hawaii who rallied late and won the conference championship over the Aggies. Thoughts?
Good job, Hawaii, bringing some glory to the islands. And, well, I'm sure that might still be a spot for New Mexico State, but Hawaii, some glory.
Only the third time in the last 25 years has Hawaii made the NCAA tournament. Pig Bear.
Aloha and Mahalo, Hawaii Raymond Warriors are going to the tournament.
You say Mahalo?
Mahalo.
Are you trying to say Mahalo?
Mahalo, my bad.
Mahalo means family. I remember watching
Family.
Lilo and Stitch. Anyway, last conference, the West Coast.
Ohana.
Ohana. No, I'm wrong, yeah. But it's Mahalo, that's how you pronounce it. Gonzaga. Not a Hawaiian word, but the West Coast's perennial powerhouse. And they take the West Coast Conference Championship again. They've made the tournament 25 consecutive seasons since. They made the tournament 24 consecutive seasons, the longest streak of any non-power team. Danny, thoughts on the Zags?
Good job, Gonzaga. I mean, there are traditional power out there, and who knows? Maybe they're trying to aim for a little pack big, but who knows?
Pig Bear.
Yeah, Gonzaga, from Hawaii to Spain. I think Gonzaga is a Spanish word.
I wouldn't know.
I mean, looking back in history, there were decisions of Gonzaga in Spain, so
I'll take your word on that. All right, now that we've done all the conference champions, we now look to the bubble. Who are the teams who are nervously clinching to their seats entering the tournament? Butler out of the Missouri Valley had a good run. Can they squeeze into the tournament? California out of the Pac-10 had a good run. Is it enough? Same with Georgetown in the Big East. Indiana had a struggle late in the year. Remember, they were a 1 seed last season and lost with 16 in Westchester. James Madison were one of the winningest non-power teams this year. Came short in the conference championship to VCU. Was their performance enough to convince the committee? LaSalle out of the A10 also had a great season. But was it enough? LSU out of the SEC, Louisville from the Conference USA. They've been struggling this season. They played in a national championship last season. Are they going to be on the outside looking in? UMass from the A10 as well. Memphis out of the Conference USA. Michigan from the Big Ten. Murray State out of the Ohio Valley with their loss to SIU Edwardsville. Did they do enough to convince the committee without the AQ bid? NC State out of the ACC. They were the team that Clemson played in the tournament final. Did they do enough to make it? Out of the WAC, 2 teams in Nevada and New Mexico State. Nevada lost to Hawaii in the semis. That's not trucks. New Mexico State lost in the finals. Are we going to have multiple WAC teams make the tournament? Oklahoma out of the Big 12, St. John's out of the Big East, Washington, Villanova, Washington from the Big East, or from the Pac-10, Villanova from the Big East, and Wichita State, also out of the Missouri Valley. Out of these 20 teams, who is most likely to get in, and who is in the most danger, Danny?
Ooh, that one's a bit tough. I think maybe
Keep
Butler
up.
might be the best one to get in. I'm not sure about who could stay out.
I think NC State should be in because going to the ACC tournament final counts for something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Clemson, they wouldn't have been a bubble team, correct? They wouldn't.
Clemson probably would not have probably would have been in NC State's spot if they lost that game.
Okay, so, I mean, getting there is for something. But yeah, NC State should be in the tournament.
All right. I think an interesting team to take into consideration is the squad in James Madison as a team as a team where you don't know whether they'll be in or out. Meanwhile, as for a team I expect to be in, I think Georgetown has done enough to prove themselves in the field, as has St. John's, but I think looking on the outside might be a team like Nevada or possibly Wichita State when things line up. I believe now all we have to do is move on to the bracket itself. So let me click in.
Are you moving the PowerPoint at all?
Yes, I am. Not at the moment. Not at the moment. I'm on the bubble slide.
Okay, well, no, because we just only see the 2KU Presents logo.
Is it on the stream?
Yeah, that's what it looks like from the
Okay.
If this is on the stream, then that's all we need.
Yeah.
All right. So now let's move on to the NCAA tournament. We're gonna get things started in Pittsburgh. The
It's
one
still-
seed.
It's still like that.
Let me see. All right. Let me troubleshoot.
Yep, all right, I can see it.
All right. As long as it's on the
Oh, there you go. Now I can see it.
as long as it's on the YouTube stream, then we're fine. Anyway, starting from the East region in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the number 1 overall seed is Gonzaga out of the West Coast. They'll be taking on Howard from the MEAC. Then we have our 8-9 between Houston of the CUSA and Sunbelt champions, Florida Atlantic. Your thoughts on these 4 guys?
Ooh, what a fun region. Gonzaga, Houston, and Florida Atlantic. That's a little fun region.
All right. Pig Bear.
I got Gonzaga. Obviously, got Gonzaga. But give me Florida Atlantic giving them some trouble in round 32.
All right. Also in the Pittsburgh regional, 4 seed USC and 13 seed Gardner Webb. I don't believe we mentioned Gardner Webb, the Big South champions.
Go down. But I don't see it.
It's on the YouTube stream, right?
Not on Discord.
That's fine.
Let me just see YouTube real quick. It's still Gonzaga, Howard, Houston, and FAU.
It does take a bit to transfer.
Gardner Webb,
All right.
one Bulldog, Bowling Springs, North Carolina.
Forgot to mention them, but Gardner Webb out of the Big South, they are the back-to-back Big South champions, making it to their second straight NCAA tournament. USC is the 4 seed out of the Pac-10. They'll be taking on the Runnin' Bulldogs. Maryland is a 5 seed playing the 12 of Jacksonville State. Your thoughts?
I mean, I had Maryland as my ACC tournament champion going into the thing, and I think Maryland gets out. I think Maryland will be the representative in the Sweet 16 from this group of teams.
All right. I think this is a potential upset-heavy group. Watch out for Jacksonville State in this one. Danny?
Yeah, should be a little fun matchup. Jack State does have a chance to do some funnies and pull off an upset or two, but we'll have to see.
All right, you always got to have one 5-12. Up next, we now move to Brooklyn, New York for the first time as an NCAA tournament site. North Carolina is a 6 seed. They'll be taking on the winner of a first 4 matchup. We'll talk about the first 4 matchups when we finish up the region. Meanwhile, the 3 seed of Iowa State, conference champions out of the Big 12, taking on the conference champions out of the Patriot League, Bucknell. Danny, your thoughts?
Can you repeat the? Can you repeat those teams again? Sorry.
North Carolina against the first 4 team. Iowa State taking on Bucknell.
Iowa State against North Carolina should be a great matchup, a little fun matchup, but maybe some revenge for UNC. But we have to see.
All right, Pig Bear.
Yeah, I think that match will be exciting. Too bad UNC didn't win the ACC.
They did not. All right.
I'm
What's that?
never gonna happen.
Who do you have out of the regional?
Carolina.
Carolina. Now we move on to the rest of the East region. Auburn, the 7 seed, taking on 10 seed Davidson. The Wildcats played a tricky spot last season, if you remember, or played a tricky spot 2 years ago, if you remember. And the 2 seed Illinois out of the Big Ten, taking on a 15 seed Cornell from the Ivy League. Thoughts?
Auburn better watch out. That's all I'm gonna really say.
I'm picking 2 upsets here. This is my 2-15 upset here. Give me
Cor-
Cornell winning.
Cornell over Illinois and Davidson over Auburn. You got Davidson in the Sweet 16?
Yeah, I do have Davidson in Sweet 16. I see the lie. I think they've got Carolina match.
Carolina's
Yeah,
on the other side.
Yeah. We're gonna hold state throwdown. Charlotte versus Chapel Hill.
All right.
Sorry, Davidson. Technically, we get technical with it.
All right, now we move into our first 4 matchup. The winner of this game gets North Carolina, and UNLV is here. The conference champions out of the Mountain West. They'll be taking on a bubble team in Louisville. An interesting decision here for the committee, having UNLV out of the field. Though we're certain to have more Mountain West teams already in the field. It'll be an interesting question to posit, as UNLV is in Dayton. Louisville will be their opponent. All right, I believe, Pig Bear, your thoughts?
I mean, that should be interesting. I thought we were doing no AQs in the first 4. Oh no, it's no 16 seeds.
Yeah.
It's 2 middle seeds. That should be interesting. I mean, Louisville could travel well to Dayton.
I like UNLV in this one, actually. I think the Rebels are a prime Cinderella candidate. Give me UNLV
Yeah.
here. Danny.
Hey, give me Louisville to win this one. This should be a fun matchup. I can see it being close, especially with UNLV being there, but I think Louisville will take it up.
Now we move from the East region to the South region. In Orlando, Florida, the regionals are. Michigan State is a 1 seed out of the Big Ten. They'll be taking on the ECAC's Hobart. And we've got an 8-9 in Florida and Clemson to round out the region. We'll start with Pig Bear here. Your thoughts?
Light work, Clemson down the number 1 seed Spartans after playing on. They start playing Wednesday night the ACC tournament? Were the 5 seed or 6 seed?
Clemson was the 6th seed.
So yeah, we started playing on Wednesday night, and we're gonna win what? 20 straight. It says something ridiculous like that, but I do think Clemson will pass Florida, and then Michigan State should win.
All right, Danny.
It's going to be really tough. I mean, hometown Orlando, so that's going to be pretty fun. But I think you need Michigan State to win this one close.
Let's move on to the next part of the Orlando regional. The 4-13 Xavier out of the A10. They were runners up in that conference, but got enough traction to make a top 4 seed. Likely, if they ended up winning, they probably would have been even higher. Stony Brook out of the American East is your 13 seed. Texas is a 5 out of the Big 12, taking on a first 4 opponent, which we'll find out about at the end of the regional unveiling. Pig Bear, thoughts?
I like Texas to take this. Texas Xavier. Complete cinema, as they call it.
Danny.
It's another really tough one. I mean, in college basketball, anyone can win, so definitely. But tell me the other teams here again.
Xavier's Stony Brook, Texas versus the first four.
Give me Xavier. I think Xavier has a little bit some potential in them.
All right. Now, to the regional in Louisville, Kentucky. Alabama, a 6 seed runners-up in the SEC, taking on 11 seed Hawaii, the WAC champions. Duke gets Abilene Christian. Duke out of the ACC, taking on Abilene Christian, the Southland champions. Pig Bear.
I mean, it sucks Duke didn't win the ACC, guys. I mean,
I'm sure we're heartbroken.
yeah, we're all heartbroken. Duke and Carolina, neither one of them won the ACC tournament. We're all heartbroken about that. Good matchup. I think Duke should beat Alabama here for the go to Sweet 16.
All right. Danny?
Give me Duke. Duke has always had like good teams going to the tournament. I think Duke, they could maybe stretch themselves out above these guys.
Up next, we wrap up the regional with the 7-10 Oregon. 7 seed Pac-10 champs taking on the 10 seed of Butler out of the Missouri Valley. We were questioning if we were going to get another team from the Missouri Valley, and we ended up with the Bulldogs making it into the tournament. Syracuse is your 2 seed from the Big East, taking on the 15 seed of Fairleigh Dickinson out of the Northeast Conference. This is a very interesting matchup. I like that 7-10 to potentially take a deep playoff run.
I like that seed.
Pig Bear.
Since they're not playing Purdue, give me Syracuse over Fairleigh Dickinson. Syracuse to advance to the Sweet 16.
All right, Danny. Danny.
Yeah. As much as I want to give it to Fairleigh Dickinson, I'm not sure how good they're going to be. Who are you picking, Pig Bear?
Pig Bear's picking Q's. The other matchup's Oregon Butler, if you didn't hear. All right. Up next, now we go to the first four. 2 12 seeds in Dayton, New Mexico State out of the WAC, playing James Madison in the CAA. James Madison cemented their first ever NCAA tournament appearance. New Mexico State will be their second straight appearance in the championship after missing it for 2 straight years. In the Big Dance after missing it for 2 straight years. All right, Danny, who do you have?
Give me the Aggies, New Mexico State.
Pig Bear?
Give me the Dukes.
All right, we got a split decision. Now we move to the Midwest Regional, starting with Kentucky in Detroit, Michigan. Kentucky, the SEC champs, taking on the 16 seed SWAC, Texas Southern. The Tigers are a consistent appearance in the NCAA tournament. VCU, the Rams, will be taking on Loyola Chicago, the Ramblers, from the CAA and Missouri Valley, respectively. 2 teams known for championship runs outside the majors, and it's going to be a very exciting 8-9. Danny, your thoughts?
This little site screams upset alert for me, so give me Loyola Chicago.
We're predicting another deep Rambler run. Pig Bear.
Sister Jean will carry him through.
All right. We have 2 picks for Loyola. Now we move to their next spot in Detroit. The 4-5, the 4 seed Seton Hall taking on the 3rd seed South Dakota State. South Dakota State out of the Summit, Seton Hall from the Big East. And the 5-12 George Washington with their highest seed ever in the NCAA tournament at a 5 seed. They won the A10 and they'll take on the 12 seed Ball State from the MAC. Pig Bear.
Could you repeat the teams, please?
Seton Hall, South Dakota State, George Washington, and Ball State.
George Washington and Seton Hall, and then Seton Hall.
Mm-hmm. Danny?
Give me Seton Hall. As much as I want to say that Ball State was balling, but I don't think they're going to ball past Seton Hall.
I like George Washington. They have all the upset potential deeper into the tournament. Now we move to our next spot in Omaha, Nebraska. Virginia is a 6 seed this year, taking on a first 4 matchup in the 11 seed. Kansas, out of the Big 12, is a 3, taking on 14th seeded St. Peter's. St. Peter's MAAC champs and in the tournament for their second straight year. Pig Bear?
You know what? It's a K team. Give me St. Peter's.
St.
And
Peter's.
give me and then I don't think St. Peter's will go into Lynn Sanity run. Give me Virginia. Go to the Sweet 16.
Danny?
Give me Kansas.
Taking KU. Next, on to the 7th seed, Tennessee, out of the SEC, taking on Cal from the Pac-10 in a great at-large matchup. Purdue is your 2 seed, Big Ten champs, taking on the Great West champs of 15 seed, Utah Valley. Pig Bear, your thoughts?
Give me Tennessee. And then Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then give me Tennessee beating Purdue.
Ooh, Danny.
Give me Purdue. I think they're going to beat Tennessee, so even the Boilermakers. They're not playing against St. Peter, so they're already out of that zone.
They don't have St. Peter's or Fairleigh Dickinson to worry about here. To our 11 seed first 4 matchup, LaSalle out of the A10 gets BYU from the Mountain West in a big at-large matchup. Who do you guys like in this one?
In a bubble showdown, give me LaSalle.
All right, Pig Bear or Danny.
Give me LaSalle as well. I think they also have some good potential.
South from the A10, BYU Mountain West. Now we move to our final regional, the West region. Baylor, our final number 1 seed, taking on the 16th seeded Lake Superior State out of the GLIAC. We've got an interesting 8-9 in UCF at the 8, taking on 9 seeded St. John's. Pig Bear?
Give me St. John's. Taking all this.
Danny?
The Red
Give me
Storm.
the ones. Give me the ones to go home as they try to welcome in the new age of Big East. Give me UCF.
UCF. They're playing a future team, or future conference opponent in St. John's as well. Now, all right, this regional is in Spokane, I forgot to mention. To the 413, Creighton and Cal State Fullerton, Missouri Valley, and Big West clashing. San Diego State, your reigning national champions, are a 5 seed as they take on a first 4 matchup at the 12. Thoughts here?
Give me the Aztecs to go deep in this tournament, and they'll obviously win here.
Danny.
Yeah, give me the Aztecs to win. San Diego State should win this.
Mm-hmm. Up next, we now move to the 6-11 St. Mary's. The Gales out of the West Coast Conference taking on Wright State. St. Mary's got upset last season. Can the same happen again? Wright State lost in the first 4 to Seattle last year. Can they avoid that this season? The Raiders sitting comfortably in the tournament. They didn't want to get a first 4 match, and luckily they avoided it. Connecticut is a 3 seed out of the Big East, taking on Weber State from the Big Sky. Danny.
Give me. Something saying St. Mary's. I think they are revenge hungry for this, but in reality, I think it might be UConn.
All right. Pig Bear?
Got chant UConn. Our IRL future national champions, but
That's a bold prediction. This regional is in San Jose, California. We wrap with the 7-10 Ohio State out of the Big Ten. Florida Gulf Coast in their second highest seed ever. They were a 9 back in 2022. They're a 10 this season as the Eagles get the Buckeyes. Meanwhile, Arizona out of the Pac-10, almost champions of the conference, but Oregon had other plans. Meanwhile, they get SIU Edwardsville, the champions of the Ohio Valley, making their first ever NCAA tournament appearance. Pig Bear.
Ohio State. I think Ohio State will take this.
Danny?
Yeah, give me Ohio State as well. I think the Buckeyes should be able to win this division.
Yeah. And we have only 2 more teams in the tournament before it's all said and done. And adding a bit of a pause for dramatic effect. And those last 2 teams of the 12 seed are 2 majors, Indiana and LSU. Indiana, a number 1 seed last season. Now they're just barely making it to the tournament. Meanwhile, LSU has had highs and lows the last few years, trying to find some semblance of consistency as they've made it back to the NCAA tournament. Danny, who do you have in this matchup?
Give me LSU to win this one close.
Pig Bear?
Who's the second team?
It's Indiana LSU.
Give me the Hoosiers.
All right, another split decision. First four all happening in Dayton, Ohio. And here is your tournament field as a whole. Our top seeds, Gonzaga, Michigan State, Kentucky, and Baylor. Some potential upsets naturally sprinkled throughout. Who do you guys like in your Final Four? I'll start with Pig Bear.
Michigan State, Carolina, Michigan State, Carolina. Is Tennessee and Carolina in the same region?
No.
Tennessee, and then Ohio State Linsanity run.
Ooh. We'd have two Linsanity runs because Tennessee is also at a 7.
Can you do a quick refresher so I can see the bracket? Or just post it in chat?
I'm gonna try closing and reopening the stream. Maybe that'll work. Or I guess not, cause I'll try sharing my screen. Maybe that'll help.
Also, are we gonna do the women's tonight too, or no?
Oh, we are doing the women's right after this.
I'm
There you go.
gonna hop out for a little bit so I can eat.
All right. Here's our tournament here. Who do you have in the Final Four?
Hey, for me, I'm out of the East. I'm gonna say it's gonna be Gonzaga. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's gonna be. You know, give me Michigan State, Kansas, and as much as I want to say UCF, I'm gonna say it's gonna be. Give me San Diego State.
San Diego State making it back to the Final Four. My big predictions here is I think FAU has a big run in this tournament. I don't think they make it to the Final Four. I think the teams making it to the Final Four are going to be Illinois. I have Illinois, Alabama. I like George Washington to make a big run with some upset help, and I think out of the West I do have San Diego State. I think that wraps us up for our things. Let's look at the last four in. Indiana, LSU, Louisville, and James Madison were the last four into the tournament. The first four out are Michigan, Murray State, Oklahoma, and Washington, all sitting out of the NCAA tournament. The biggest shocker here is Murray State, who had one of the best records in the nation, but missed out with that precious AQ. Thoughts on the last four in and the first four out?
NC State should have been in the first four. I mean, you can't go to the ACC tournament and not be for nothing. Like, they should get a high C in the NIT.
Hmm.
The ACC is the prestigious conference in college football. One of the in college basketball. You can't just get snubbed like that.
Danny, your thoughts?
Yeah, you kind of have to agree that NC State should have at least found themselves a way in, but who knows, maybe the NIT's got this rough for them, but a lot of big brands are left out, like Michigan, Washington, Fraser, and then James Madison doing a little sneak in.
James Madison sneaking in. Last year, two CAA teams did make it to the NCAA tournament. VCU and conference champions UNC Wilmington made it into the tournament.
Yeah.
All right, now we look ahead to the Final Four in New Orleans, Louisiana. If you were in the server, you saw these logos getting posted. Just a bit of a preview for what's to come. Up next now, we have the women's tournament. Starting with the East region.
All
right, you take care.
I'll be back soon.
We'll be doing this a bit quicker. Starting in the East, Iowa, number 1 overall seed, gets Howard, another team out of the another championship out of the MEAC. Drake and Old Dominion. Drake from the Missouri Valley, Old Dominion from the CAA. Colorado at the 4 seed out of the Big 12, taking on America East champs Maine. And Georgia from the SEC gets Horizon champions Oakland. Danny, you got any thoughts here?
Should be a fun division, especially Iowa with their big star players. So should be fun.
Iowa's made a bit of traction. To the other side of the East, Oregon State gets first four matchup. Tennessee and Lehigh face off. North Carolina gets Bowling Green at the 7-10. And Stanford has UC Santa Barbara ahead. Thoughts? Danny?
Yeah, give me some Stanford. That's a pretty fun tournament as well. Sorry, just gonna go get a drink real quick.
All right, now we move real quick to our first four matchup as George Washington gets Illinois State. The winner gets Oregon State. We'll touch on that later. South region, starting Memphis, Tennessee. The 1 seed Connecticut gets the 16 seed Northern Michigan. UConn won the Big East championship. Northern Michigan, the GLIAC champs. Gonzaga out of the West Coast gets the A10s Dayton. Iowa State is the 4 getting South Dakota State at the 13. California is a 5 seed getting a first 4 matchup. Now on the other side of the bracket, Oklahoma, 6 seed from the Big 12 getting SoCon champs Chattanooga. Virginia Tech against East Tennessee State. ACC versus Gulf Star matchup. Kentucky's a 7 seed and they get the biggest shock of the tournament, the Dave Show Truckers, making their first ever women's tournament appearance. They'll be their final for the A-Sun. They'll be in the ACC next year. Notre Dame out of the Big Ten is sitting at the 2, and they get Armstrong State out of the Big South, making their first ever NCAA tournament appearance. Danny? Danny? You are muted. Excuse me. What? Just a moment. Danny is getting hydrated at the moment. This regional in Birmingham, Alabama. I did forget to touch on that. While Danny's out, I do like to see Notre Dame probably getting pretty far, and they'll get a good matchup, I think, later on in the bracket against Oklahoma. I think that's going to be pretty good. Now to the Midwest. Actually, before we do, first 4 matchup between 2 12 seeds. Arkansas, out of the Conference USA, gets Florida Gulf Coast from the A-Sun. The odds favorites are for Arkansas to steal it away once again, as they made the tournament several years before. Can they get it again? And can you get another ticket to the big dance? Now we'll move to the Midwest region. From Evansville, Indiana, Baylor, 1 seed getting the Great West Texas Pan American. Michigan at the 8 gets St. Louis. Meanwhile, UCLA, the 4 seed gets 13th seed in Marist. 2 conference champs from the ACC and the MAAC. Did I say UCLA was in the ACC? I was wrong. That's the Pac-10. Marist out of the MAAC, though. Florida State taking on Belmont, and a matchup between the ACC and the Ohio Valley. On the other side, welcome back. You thoughts on the South region?
Yeah, impressive to see Dave Show win. That's a little bit of a shocker. The Balling Truckers.
Mm-hmm. Who do you have winning it?
Give me Notre Dame to win this one. I think they are a really good team and have a really good side as well.
Mm-hmm. First 4 thoughts?
Yeah, give me Florida Gulf Coast. I think they have a good chance of pulling off a potential upset here.
And on the first half of the Midwest?
And this should be really fun. Also cool to see Marist and Florida State here. That's pretty cool as well. But give me Baylor to win it.
All right. On the other side, Texas A&M out of the Big 12 gets a first 4 matchup. LSU and Jackson State are your 3-14. Jackson State, the winningest program by a long shot in the SWAC. Louisiana Tech, the 7th seed out of the WAC, taking on 10 seed Boise State in a good old fashioned WAC showdown. Boise State currently of the Missouri Valley. NC State definitely didn't miss in the women's tournament, making it to the 2 seed. Alaska Anchorage will be making their NCAA tournament debut as a 15 seed out of the Big Sky. Danny?
Yeah, this would be a really fun matchup. If I'm gonna pick a winner, give me North Carolina State to win this one. I believe it's either gonna be them or LSU's gonna win it.
All right. In that 11 matchup for the first 4, Maryland and Arizona State, ACC versus Pac-10, to see who makes it into the big dance. It's for sure. All right, Danny?
Give me Maryland. I think Maryland could represent the ACC well and win big here.
And then we have one more regional. The West region from Phoenix, Arizona to start off. South Carolina is the 1 seed, and they get the 16th seed of Utica out of the ECAC. The final time we'll have the final conference champion out of the ECAC. Creighton is an 8 seed out of the Missouri Valley, getting the 9 of Utah from the Mountain West. At the 4 seed is Texas against number 13th seeded Princeton out of the Ivy League. Northwestern is a 5, and they get the 12 seed first 4 matchup. Danny?
This is a really interesting matchup. A good chunk of East and West Coast teams, but give me the upset here and give me Texas to win this one.
All right. On to the last bit of the regional. The 6 seed Vanderbilt out of the SEC takes on 11 seeded Texas Arlington, the champs of the Southland Conference. Ohio State is a 3 seed. They get the NEC's champion, St. Francis Brooklyn, as the Terriers make it back to the NCAA tournament. Penn State is a 7 seed, taking on 10th seed A10 champ St. Joseph's. And the 2 seed Louisville gets the 15th seeded Incarnate Word. Texas Arlington's out of the Sun Belt. Excuse me. And Incarnate Word is coming from the Southland. Danny?
Another really good team. Another really good division. A lot of fun matchups here. If I'm going to pick a winner, give me Louisville to win this one.
All right. And our last first 4 has USC and Auburn vying for a 12 seed. Any thoughts here?
2 major brands, 2 good programs. Give me Auburn to win this one.
All right, and I believe that wraps up our tournament. A good Final 4. I'd like to see Iowa and Connecticut taking on. I think what could happen is an NC State, and maybe we do have a Cinderella run in us in that last bracket. I like potentially Utah to take a big run in this tournament in their final year as a Mountain West member. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of good matchups. If I'm going to pick a winner from each division, I'm going to say it's going to be Iowa, Notre Dame, Baylor, and it's going to be Louisville or Utah that could be the biggest runners.
And then we just have one more thing to do. Look ahead to the Final 4 in Los Angeles, California. This will be in Los Angeles, California. We're really down to the wire here in this presentation. Final matchups at the Staples Center. How down to the wire are we? We're about to sign off now. That's about all we have to share. Danny, stay tuned. I'll be showing off the NIT as a server exclusive. Don't forget to join the Taipei Joy 101 Discord, where we'll have a proper reveal in our headlines channel. Thank you all for watching tonight's stream. We'll see you next Sunday for a big March Madness special. We'll be simulating all the way up to the Final 4, and we'll come back in April to do the champions, to do the Final 4 matches. Any closing remarks?
Stay safe out there, everyone. Have a happy St. Patrick's Day. Make sure you drink responsibly and drive responsibly. And so long from the 2KU.
Thank you for that. That's going to do it for us here today. Once again, we'll see you on Sunday for the big dance. And so long from the 2KU.
From 2KU.